Rebuilding in the NBA is never guaranteed. Most franchises hope to get lucky, draft a star, and build slowly. Or some franchises trade for a superstar and build their team like that. But the Oklahoma City Thunder, they broke the system and they did both. What Sam Presti and the Thunder organization have pulled off over the last 5 years might be one of the greatest rebuilds of the modern NBA. From trading away 2 superstars in 2019 to becoming a 68-win juggernaut in just 5 years. In the summer of 2019, the Oklahoma City Thunder faced a crossroads. The team that had been a staple of Western Conference playoff contention for the better part of the decade, but the glory days of Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden were long gone. And after back-to-back first-round exits, the Paul George and Westbrook experiment had clearly hit its ceiling. Sam Presti, the Thunder's longtime general manager, made one of the boldest choices in modern NBA history. He didn't just rebuild, he detonated everything. On July 10, 2019, Presti traded Paul George to Los Angeles Clippers in a blockbuster deal that sent shockwaves through the league. In exchange, the Thunder received a haul. And when I mean a haul, I mean one of the biggest trades in the modern NBA. Danilo Gallinari, a 21-year-old gilgeous-alexander, and 5 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps. This trade wasn't just tearing it down, it was a calculated bet that the Clippers, even with Kawhi and Paul George, might fail. And the Thunder could build something better through patience and control of the draft. And just 6 days later, the teardown continued. Russell Westbrook was sent to the Houston Rockets for Chris Paul, another future Hall of Famer past his prime, and a package of picks and swaps that would later become incredibly valuable. Many saw Chris Paul's contract as a burden, but Presti saw it as an opportunity. The Thunder expected to tank, instead surprised the entire NBA by finishing as the 5th seed in the 2020 season, pushing the Houston Rockets to 7 games in the bubble. It was a brief detour from the rebuild, but also a masterclass in asset maximization. The 2020 offseason is when the full-blown rebuild began. In November alone, the Thunder executed 10 trades in just 10 days. Let that sink in for a second. 10 trades in just 10 days. For those details, they acquired 5 first-round picks, 10 second-round picks, and a parade of expiring contracts, flipping them again when the market opened up. By December, they made 2 more trades, bringing in 1 more first-round pick and another second. Then in March of 2021, Presti made 3 more trades in rapid succession. The key theme became clear. He was willing to take on troubled players or bad contracts if it meant acquiring even a single draft asset. One of those deals involved Myers Leonard, whose career was all but over after some controversial things he said on stream. OKC accepted him in a trade, received a second-round pick for their troubles, and waived him immediately. This pattern repeated over and over again, taking on chaos turning into control. But July 2021, the Thunder struck again with 4 more trades, this time bringing in 4 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a former All-Star Kemba Walker. One of those trades, however, would become the most questioned decision in Presti's rebuild, flipping the draft rights to Alperen Sengun, a Turkish big man with elite passing and scoring instincts, to the Houston Rockets in exchange for 2 future firsts. Sengun would flourish in Houston, while OKC would be still waiting on those picks to convey. That summer, the Thunder selected Josh Giddey with the 6th overall pick, a tall, crafty playmaker out of Australia. Giddey immediately showcased elite feel for the game. At 18, they took Trey Mann, a microwave scorer and creativity off the bounce. And at 55, they landed Aaron Wiggins, one of the most productive second-round steals in recent memory. The Thunder ended the 2021-2022 season with just 24 wins, but anyone paying attention knew that development, not victories, was the priority. And in 2022, the chaos dialed back slightly, but only by OKC standards. They completed 6 trades, picking up 5 second-round picks and 2 more firsts. Their more aggressive move came on draft night, when they packaged 3 protected first-rounders to move up and select the French forward in Ousmane Dieng at number 11. A long, raw wing, ball-handling flashes, and high defensive potential. And we have yet to see Ousmane Dieng even develop into anything, but then again, this is year 3 for him. That same night, with the number 2 overall pick, the Thunder selected Chet Holmgren, a unicorn, a 7-footer out of Gonzaga who has really high defensive potential, as we see today. And at number 12, they landed probably the steal of the draft in Jalen Williams from Santa Clara, a hidden gem who would become an all-star level wing within 2 years. And then the last pick they selected with was the other Jalen Williams, a tough Arkansas big man who was picked up later and soon to become a fan favorite with his stretch floor abilities and his ability to always be smiling no matter the goddamn situation. Chet Holmgren was set to headline OKC's front court revolution, but he suffered an injury in the offseason that kept them sidelined for his entire rookie year. It was a huge blow, but in retrospect, it gave the Thunder another year of high lottery odds, with other young players stepped into big roles. The season became about Shea's emergence. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander became a star, averaging over 30 points per game, earning first-team All-NBA honors, and setting the tone as the team's leader. Then came 2023, perhaps the most Sam Presti year ever. 9 trades, brought in 10 second-round picks and 2 firsts. He turned injury and controversy into opportunity yet again. When Victor Oladipo's career was derailed by an injury, the Thunder took him in a salary dump and received 2 seconds. Later, when Kevin Porter Jr. found himself under criminal investigation, OKC acquired him yet again, just for the attached picks, and waived them the same day. The Thunder weren't interested in players, they were only interested in the leverage that came with those picks. And on draft night, OKC made a subtle but impactful move. They swapped picks with Dallas, sending them the rights to Derek Lively in exchange for Cason Wallace, a tough-nosed defensive guard who could defend both backcourt positions. Wallace fit into the Thunder's identity. That year, the Thunder took another leap. They finished 40-42 and made the play-in tournament. They fell short of making the playoffs, but the message was clear. The rebuild was almost complete, the foundation had been set, and it was solid. Shai was a superstar, J-Dub was a rising star, and Chet would be back to strengthen that front court. And OKC still had more picks than anyone else. The 2024 season marked the official end of the rebuild and beginning of the contention. At the trade deadline, the Thunder acquired Gordon Hayward, a veteran meant to stabilize the locker room and provide playoff experience. The experiment flopped. Hayward was underwhelming, and the Thunder later admitted it wasn't the right fit. But the team itself still soared. They won 57 games, finished top 5 in defense, and advanced to the second round of the playoffs, where they lost to Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks in their 6 tough games. The series exposed their weaknesses: playoff physicality, playoff savvy, and rebounding, but also that their team was on the doorstep of greatness, and some of their players might not be on this team when it's time to finally win that title. Because that summer, Sam Presti moved decisively, in a trade that was very necessary, especially after seeing all his weaknesses in the 2024 playoffs. Sam Presti sent Josh Giddey to the Chicago Bulls for Alex Caruso, one of the league's best win-now players and one of the league's best perimeter defenders and a proven playoff riser. Then came free agency. The Thunder used the money that they got after Gordon Hayward's contract ended to sign Isaiah Hartenstein to a $30 million deal. Hartenstein gave OKC what they lacked: size, toughness, rebounding, and screens, all things the team struggled with in their playoff loss. With those 2 additions, the Thunder entered the 2024-2025 season fully formed, and the result was a jaw-dropping 68-win campaign. They became the best team in the NBA, not by hype or narrative, but by sheer execution. They had the league's best defense. Their offense, led by Shai and Jalen Williams, was relentless. Chet Holmgren was a game-changing two-way force. Caruso and Wallace turned opposing guards into non-factors. Hartenstein bruised and battled in the paint, and their bench was loaded with versatile contributors who could step into any role. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander elevated his game yet again, becoming the MVP of the league, finding his perfect co-star next to him in Jalen Williams. The Thunder dominated from start to finish, with a point differential that rivaled the best teams in the past 3 decades. What the Oklahoma City Thunder achieved wasn't just impressive, it was unprecedented. They were still the youngest contending team in the league, beating a young but experienced Memphis Grizzlies team in 4 games in the first round, and taking the 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic and former Finals MVP and former champions in the Denver Nuggets to a 7-game series, and also wiping out one of the league's top rising guards in Anthony Edwards in 5 games. The Thunder found themselves in the NBA Finals matching up against the Indiana Pacers, who had one of the craziest playoff stories up to this point. But a lot of people count out the Pacers, but they gave the 68-win Team Thunder a run for their money and forced them into 7 games. And in Game 7, all OKC fans didn't know what to expect, especially with Tyrese Halliburton making 3 straight 3-pointers, but the game was over once Halliburton went down, and the Oklahoma City Thunder secured their first ever championship in Oklahoma, with Shai being named their Finals MVP. And all this loops back to the Paul George trade back in 2019, and this is how the Oklahoma City Thunder went from one of the worst teams in the league to a potential dynasty in just 6 seasons. Leave a like and let me know in the comments down below, do you think Oklahoma City can be the first team in the 2020s to be repeat champions? And as always guys, go hard at them dudes. Salute.